about when you're asked, eventually, if it's going correctly, what you do. People say, what is it you do? What is it you say? Now, some people are very slick at this. You know, they've got their little taglines, as they're called, things like that, their little hook lines and things like that. One tip for you is, never say, I am a, whatever it is. Okay? Now, the reason I say that is, and this is not anybody's fault, but people have got preconceptions about what you do, your industry. There's little trigger words there that people have got in their mind, rightly or wrongly, and it's the wrong ones that you're up against, about your particular industry. So if somebody asks you what you do, never say, I am a such and such, mention your industry, or anything like that, or maybe keywords there. I did it in the early days. I've done it, you know, what is it you do, Colin? And I spouted it all out, boom. Because if people have this little trigger word that you say, it's negative to them, they just switch off. So you've lost them. What you say after that, they ain't listening. So you've got to be, I'm not going to give you, you know, particular examples today, but I would encourage you to think about your industry, and this is the key thing for you, is it's not the features, it's the benefits. Okay? How many people have data dumped on you? Data dump. Don't data dump, please. Some industries are worse at this than others. They ask you what you do and they just have this big splurge out. The mechanics of what they do, people ain't interested. I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, and this, you know, this might, you know, you might not agree with this, but people are not interested in what you do whatsoever. They're only interested in themselves. What they're interested in is, can I help them? Or can I solve an issue that they may have, or a problem? People want to either move towards pleasure or away from pain. That's a key thing to remember. So, you know, talk about, you know, any challenges that they've got. You know, you can help them with solutions. So remember that's a key word, towards pleasure or away from pain. So don't data bump. A good thing that I do that I would encourage you to do is ask, who's got testimonials? Yeah, testimonials. Ask a client that's been really satisfied with a job that you've done or a project, okay? And if they gave you a testimonial, what kind of words did they use? Or just phone up a client and ask them, you know, if somebody's really satisfied. And a really good time to get them is when you've really completed a job and they're so happy, is ask them what made them happy. And what they say is what you should be saying when somebody asks you what you do. Tell a little story. That's a really good tip as well. Somebody asks you what you do, you say, well, as a matter of fact, I've just finished working with so-and-so, and give them a little story about how it was successful and what the client, the happy client, was happy about. So that's a little tip there for you. Okay? Now, on the subject of kind of prejudging and all that type of thing, this is a huge mistake that people make as well. This is a top one for you. And it's happened to me. I'm testament to this, and I'll tell you a story. Just to illustrate this. Never, ever, ever prejudge people. Never do it, please. I've seen it all the time. It's happened to me, and I've seen it happening in networking events where somebody's been introduced to somebody and they're kind of talking away. And, you know, I don't know what it is. I mean, we can't like everybody. I know that. I appreciate that. But, you know, depending on what industry they're in, people just get this, how can you help me? Now, it's happened to me a lot. It happens to me a lot. Because of the industry that I'm in the nutritional industry, people just think that, you know, I sort of see personal clients and maybe sell some health products. But I actually, well, over the years, because of my networking, I've built up, you know, I've got thousands of people in my database. I've got, you know, I've just got thousands of connections over the years that I've built up. Now, unless people are asking me things and get to know me, they ain't going to find that out. I mean, I've got connections in huge multinational companies. I mean, it was a perfect example this morning. Somebody were talking this morning, and housing associations were mentioned. I've got somebody that I know that knows probably all the housing associations in Scotland, all these pretty senior people. So there's an example. I'm just going to illustrate this by one story. I met this guy with somebody else, and the person that I knew actually said that, oh yeah, introduced me and said, oh yeah, Colin works with Lloyd's TSB, which I did at that time, a couple of years ago. That was fine, you know, and we're chatting away and that, and I kind of found out that this person, basically, an introduction to Lloyd's TSB would have been a dream referral for them. Now, I don't know whether they weren't listening, they just dismissed me, but I thought, maybe I can help them. So when I got back to the office, I dropped them an email and I said, you know, would you like to meet for a coffee, explore any common ground? I just put the seeds out there, knowing that Lloyd's TSB would be fantastic. A reply came back, I don't think it would be productive at this time to have a coffee. Yeah, you're right, it wasn't productive. That could have been a dream referral. I knew the personnel, HR, one of the directors in Lloyd's TSB, and that would have been a dream introduction for them. And they just didn't see it. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't productive, it certainly was. Opportunity only comes along once. The last I heard was that particular business was struggling. You know, that was a year ago. I don't know if they're still in business now, but that's just a little, it's like never, ever prejudge people. There's, you know, people say, oh, you know, we don't get big companies along, and, you know, we're looking for introduction to big companies. They're everywhere because they're in the connections of the people in your groups and for networking. People have got hundreds, thousands of connections. So that's a really important point there, never to prejudge. And I've seen it all the time. So that's just a little illustration there.